another segment, our final one here of the day before we get into our interview with a legendary coach down here in Southern Illinois. We're going to start calling this Prospect of the Week. Our idea behind it is kind of just to try and shine more light on an uncommitted, right now, an uncommitted senior, uncommitted 2025. And we're all going to try and come up with different names and just kind of talk about them quickly, just to give them some more love.
Absolutely. No, I love anytime we can shout out some guys. I'm all for it. And this one, honestly, I'm surprised he's still on the market. Left-handed pitcher Franklin Kirchner. He was a second-team All-State guy for us this year after a huge spring for Conant. Helped lead Conant along with plenty of other guys they had on that squad. But he was a huge factor on the mound. He threw 65.2 innings. He was 10-1. Gave up 52 hits, struck out 82, walked 22, had a 1.81 ERA, and helped Conant to a runner-up finish there in 4A. Just a competitive low 80s lefty that can pretty much throw any pitch in any count. And Tyler or anybody else that's really dove in and seen him pitch can speak to that more. But just with how hard it is to find left-handed pitching in general, and then to find somebody that can really pitch, that had success, that pitched in big moments, that thrived in big moments, I should say, because he pitched the semifinal game to get them to the state finals. So, Tyler, if you want to just go off of that.
Yeah, me and Gavin were there. He went toe-to-toe with Ryan Sloan. Major league draft pick by the Mariners this past summer. So he also just seemed like he had a steady heartbeat that day too, which, I mean, going up against a guy you know is getting drafted. So kudos to him. No, he should be plucked. I think any school around here would be lucky to have him. But going into my prospect of the week, I'm not going too far. About 5 minutes down the road for me is Colin Roche at Naz. Catcher for the Roadrunners. He's 6'2", 184 pounds. The thing that stands out with Roche for me is just how he catches, how he manages a game back there. Saw Naz twice last spring and just really love the way he handles himself, how he handles the pitchers, handles big moments behind the dish. It's a guy that doesn't get lazy back there, which for a high school catcher, it makes sense. Even in college, you got guys that get, maybe a little lazy towards the end of the game, but that's not really Colin, at least in the looks that I've gotten of him. Like I said, stood out in the spring, stood out again in the summer when we saw him, and then was really good at our unsigned senior event this fall at the Max that Drew teased a little bit earlier. He had a 30-inch vertical jump, which for a catcher I feel like is pretty rare. He was also a sub-7 runner at the event. Was 82 miles an hour from the crouch, so he's got a strong arm to go with everything else in his game. So, just really like Colin Roche's game, and excited to see where he goes at the next level.
Yeah, Chuck has long been a really good receiver of the baseball too, so I really like that shout out for Chuck. I have two. Don't get mad. I just couldn't decide which one to pick, so I'm just going to do them both. Chase Peterson, he's kind of one of the first names that comes to mind when thinking of uncommitted seniors right now. Brought him to the senior future games in Georgia. Just loud tools across the board. 6'8" runner. A super intentful right-handed swing that's all over the barrel whenever we see it, especially in batting practice. He's routinely up to 100 miles an hour. He can get up to 88 from the outfield. And he's got some pretty good blast numbers too. Did anyone see him play in the senior future games? I didn't get to catch any of that. Wasn't sure if anyone saw it.
I did. I don't have my headphones plugged in right now because my phone's about to die. But yes, he was all over the barrel. I thought out of all the Illinois guys that were at the senior future games, I thought Chase Peterson did more for himself than maybe anybody else other than Julian Ashley Friedman. I thought had a really good week too. And Dominic Holton by no means was a slouch, but I just thought Chase, every time I saw him, was splitting a gap, hitting a double. And I love the motor he plays with. He seems like a very hard-nosed kid on the field and was a great kid in the dugout. So that's what I had on him, Pete.
Nice. And then, Demarion Butler, Kenwood kid. he was a junior future gamer a few years ago, part of that team that I really loved coaching. Yeah, so he's just more like he's like a compactor middle infielder. Good barrel control. He can kind of shoot the gas, more of a line drive hitter. Not a ton of pop in there yet, but I'm sure that'll come in the coming years. But I just really love the way he floats around the infield. Got a chance to see him in the Chicago Public Championship, that same game when I talked about Tyler Trapp. And he's just long been a really good defender. I'm surprised he's not plucked yet. But, yeah.
My uncommitted prospect of the week would be Ryan Lazuski. I really liked him at the state games. That's honestly the only time that I have ever seen him. He was an upside frame, that long, lanky, 6 foot, 162 pounds. And I was on left-handed hitters that day for our workout day, and I got to see him, and it was a 91 mile an hour average exit velocity, so he was on the barrel throughout. But aside from that, what I really liked was just how his pre-pitch movements looked. Like, it's just super loose, super athletic, and he's got that left-hand swings, which, always good. But he's an athletic defender too, had clean footwork, played, middle infield, showed range to both sides. He's got a clean and loose arm action that looks right for an infielder. And it was 84 miles an hour across. And then in game too, just looking back at the stats, he was 3 for 6 with a double and an RBI at that event, which he's going up against some of the best arms in the state. So that's an uncommitted 2025 right there to know. And we'll keep an eye on some of these other guys and keep doing this throughout our podcasts each week. But